Hey everybody, you're listening to Sit Down with Stand-Ups. I'm Ari Azizian. My guest today is an extremely funny comedian. He's been on Conan, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and has had a half-hour special on Comedy Central. His album It Takes a Village is one of the funniest comedy albums out there, and his latest special on Showtime is absolutely hysterical. I'm very lucky to be speaking with Mr. Ian Bagg.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Good, man.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what to do with my ego now after that fantastic little intro.
Thank you so much.
I'm lucky to be talking to you.
No, I'm pleased. I'm so lucky to be talking to you. And
Let's just do that for half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to talk to you. No, you're lucky to talk to me. No.
And I'm glad I got the right Tuesday, finally.
Well, I'm
Tuesday,
sorry.
That was totally my fault.
I was just like, I phoned down. I'm like, am I there tonight? I'm sure I'm next week.
I just walked out like an idiot. But there's a great picture on the wall here with you and Gary Shandling for the Ian Bagg Show.
Oh.
And last Tuesday, Gary Shandling was in, so it was like...
Did you interview him?
No, but I got to see him.
You should have just asked him.
Yeah, he's my favorite. I love that guy.
Oh, really?
But
you should ask Mike if you can interview him. He'll help you out. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I read your bio that you studied explosive engineering in college.
I didn't, and I did, but I didn't.
Okay.
I started to go to college, and then I dropped out to do stand-up, so I didn't get as far as to do it.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a stand-up?
I kind of did, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and I just didn't know how that became a reality.
And you were from Canada, right?
I was from Canada up near Alaska in a little town called Terrace, British Columbia, which is about 800 miles north of Vancouver.
Vancouver.
And it's right near the panhandle of Alaska, where the town that was closest to us was Ketchikan.
Ketchikan? Okay.
Ketchikan, Alaska, yeah. So.
But were you close to like the second city there, or because you're so great at improv and did you study there? Or?
I didn't. I did. I did a little bit of. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I did a little bit. I've done a couple classes, but I've never done Second City. I have done a little bit of sketch work, but I don't know. It just kind of. My style comes basically from growing up playing hockey with a bunch of other guys that had to travel. We'd sit on these little school buses and just talk crap to each other. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
And it's not about making another guy try to cry. It's just about teasing him, trying to take him as far as you can. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And you decided in college that you wanted to try stand-up for like...
I was headed to college. I'd been working in a gold mine. I knew before that. I went to... Here's how I graduated.
In a gold mine?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I graduated high school. My mom's from Australia. We went to my grandma's funeral. My grandma was sick, and we were all going over. So I went over there, and I ended up staying in Australia for a year. And then I came back, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I just ended up kind of bumming around my town. But I knew I wanted to do stand-up, but I couldn't figure out how it happens. I'd never been to a comedy club. I'd heard of comedy. I'd seen it on TV, but I just couldn't figure the leap out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got to get a job. So my one buddy was in an even tinier Indian village, and he was running a grocery store. And he said, come up and work for me. So I came up and worked for him for a year. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I ended up getting a job working with an explosives company.
Wow.
And
this is from the gold mine.
Yeah, well,
they're related.
They're all related. They all fit in. So
that's so interesting and cool.
I ended up working with this explosives company where I'm at the bottom of the barrel, where I carry explosives from the magazine, which is where it's kept, to the trucks that are being delivered. And then from there, I end up driving the trucks. And from there, hey, do you want to work in the gold mine setting up blasting patterns? So I'm like, yeah. So I ended up at the gold mine setting up blasting patterns. And they're like, do you want to go to school for this? I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go to school for this. But I end up in Vancouver, and I'm going to go to school for it. But I know that I want to do stand-up.
Yeah.
So I go to a comedy club one night and see what they do. And I see the stand-up. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I can do this. And then I went back and did an amateur open mic contest. And I didn't win it or anything. I think I came in fourth or something like that. But the manager said, hey, you should come back next week. And I was like, really? So I went back next week and quit school. I didn't go to school. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it happened.
That's so cool. And I saw an early video of you. You're on Showcase Comics with Louis Anderson.
Showcase Comics with Louis Anderson.
And I've never seen you. It was like more of an actual like written act that I've never seen you perform before. Was that because it's like harder to improvise with a TV show audience?
Yeah.
Did you originally start doing?
No,
like,
I used to when I first started out. I've always been back and forth with the crowd a little bit, but I was convinced by people in the business at that time that's not how you do it. You do it this way, which was me doing the monologue. and if you wanted to do TV, you couldn't divert off the monologues.
Right.
So I started to do it that way, and I did it that way for Conan O'Brien and for almost all the TV I did. That's basically it. But as it started going, I kind of learned how to have a conversation with myself. So it kind of me looking like I was having a conversation with the crowd for later on. And then finally, when I did my Showtime special, I did what I do, which is have a conversation with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you moved from Canada to New York.
I went from
Troy,
I went from my hometown to Vancouver. From Vancouver, I started stand up, and I went to the Montreal Comedy Festival, and I wasn't on it. I just wanted to see it. I ended up getting on a couple shows, and this guy from New York seen me, said, "If you're ever in New York, I'll put you on stage."
Wow.
So the funny part was I didn't make any money, so I ended up hitchhiking back to Vancouver, and I was living with this girl at the time, and she dumped me as soon as I got back, and I was just like, "You could have done this on the phone," right? So I spent another 3 months in Vancouver, and then I went to Montreal again because I got a headlining gig there. I had $1,000 to my name. I got on a train and went to New York.
Wow.
And never came back. So
I read, yeah, like you said on your bio, you stayed in a youth hostel.
youth hostel,
that whole
$14 a night, I think it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it
but
was
you were
so
going
fun.
on every night. And
Yeah, it was
living
funny.
The dream.
I was living the dream. I was getting $25 a night. It was fantastic. The funny part was the people that worked at the comedy club, like they were really nice to me, but I must have been the weirdest guy ever because I would have this entourage of foreign people with me all the time, like
From the youth hostel?
Yeah, from the youth hostel. So one night there'd be a bunch of Germans with me, and the next night there'd be a bunch of Brazilians. It never made sense at all. They're
So
like,
funny.
who's this guy?
Your German is really good. Your German dialect, I've heard it. It's so good.
It's probably from hanging out with the youth hostel.
Yeah. I just heard some people waiting in line, and I think there's some Germans in your audience.
Oh, really?
Tonight. Yeah, if you find them.
Awesome.
This might be a really silly question, but how do you...
No questions are silly.
I can't even
That's stupid.
I can't even imagine what it's like to start out improvising, because I love to do improv and I love to do stand-up, but to do that, carry it over into stand-up. What were those early days like of just riffing with the crowd? Did you?
They've always been fun. Did
you have material that you could fall back on?
Yeah, I've always had material that. But when you say just in case, I would get into trouble every so often, like whether it be from the club owners saying don't do that, or from the crowd. I remember having crowds saying I was doing comedy wrong. And I was just like, well,
it's like after the show they would say.
Yeah, they're like, you're not supposed to do it like that. And I'm like, no, that's how I do it. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I don't do it the way you think it's supposed to be done. But I remember this lady telling me that I didn't take comedy serious, and I just looked at her. I'm like, you are an idiot. So
what does that even mean?
Yeah, I know. First of all, I take comedy way more serious than anybody should. Right. And second of all, you shouldn't take comedy serious. So yeah. And then sometimes it would go awry, but after a while I just kind of but that's how it works for everything. Doesn't matter if you're a monologist or if you're a juggler or if you do props. You have to crash to learn how not to crash.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's true. Thank God flying's not like that.
I know. Yeah. Stand-up's the weird one where it's like you have to fail in front of 100 people every time.
Yeah. And you have to hope that somebody doesn't say, "Hey, I seen you that night." Everybody booed you.
Right. Yeah. Were you ever fearful of hecklers, or is that kind of more like a gift for you? Like, when you see somebody yelling out, or if a glass breaks in the audience or something, is that more fun for you, or?
I guess it's just it's being in the moment, right?
Yeah.
It's breaking the fourth wall. If something happens, if somebody hates you, if somebody loves you, if somebody drops dead, or if somebody somebody farts, or somebody it's just being in the moment. So it's just I love it. I love it when something goes different. I like when we find a corner when we're just going straight. So yeah.
That's so cool. And to have somebody, I feel like, to say in those early days that you're doing comedy wrong, that you're doing something so unique and special, that because that's such a weird thing for somebody.
The one thing that I've learned about, I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all, or if I'm any good at it, or if I'm getting better or whatever, but the one thing I've learned about being in show business is you know better than everybody else. Yeah. There's people that will guide you, but when somebody says you don't know what you're doing, you do know what you're doing. Follow what you're doing. Yeah.
I think that's really great advice.
And always have fun.
Always have fun. Yeah. And you do.
You're
always
not
have fun on stage. It looks like.
Sometimes you're not gonna have fun. Sometimes there's but as long as 9 times out of 10 it's
it's fun. You're doing the right thing. Yeah. Do you? For the not fun moments, what are those like for you? Like when is there a crowd that's just like not
it's not so
having
much.
it?
Honestly, it's not the crowd. It's more me when I'm not having fun. Sometimes I've been known to take things on stage with me, or I slipped a disc in my back about 3 months ago, and I've been dealing with that. So sometimes it'll flare up, and I'll be on stage, and I'll just be in. I'm just like, please, just don't fall down. Just don't fall down. So that's not fun.
Yeah.
So it's I think. I remember Cosby said, "Give her a pill, she'll sleep with you." No, Cosby used to say, "Never blame the crowd," and I've always had that in my mind. It's I think if the crowd, just like what I said, you're not doing anything wrong. The crowd can never be wrong too.
Right.
Like it's interesting that the crowd cannot, a whole group of people cannot like you at one time. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
That can happen. Like, really? Everybody? So, because there's always going to be one person that doesn't like you, but what? Everybody? Like, not the reverse. Like, at least one person likes me?
Yeah.
So, it's going to happen. It still happens once in a while where everybody hates you. But there's no wrong, there's no right. Like, that's... the club owners that are the best know there's no wrong, there's no right. It's in the moment how it happens.
True,
it's just how it happens. So.
No, I totally agree with you that I don't think it's ever the crowd's fault. I'll see some comedians like if they're like having a bad night and they'll just lash out at some of the audience member. I'm like, I don't know, but he paid for a ticket.
He
like,
paid for a ticket.
He might be right.
Yeah, he can be a dick, and you're allowed to say he's a dick, but he's not wrong for being a dick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's.
Keep trying.
Sometimes we forget it's a speakeasy, and it's a speakeasy on both sides.
Right.
So if they want to say something that's off color, they're allowed to say something that's off color too. So.
Do you I mean, it wasn't shortly after when you moved to New York that you were on Conan, right?
It was pretty much right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you did Conan?
I was about 26, I think 27. Yeah, the first time I did it. Yeah.
And that was like when he was like starting out with
He
late
was
night too,
very
right?
Yeah, it was within the first 2 years of him doing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because when I first started doing comedy, Carson retired. Like he had already, because I think it was 92 I started. I know that Carson retired, and I remember thinking, oh, that's something I'll never get to do. So before I even...
Did you grow up like watching him? And
Yeah. Once I knew that I wanted to do stand-up, I was like, you got to want to go on Carson. You got to meet him. I was like, oh, I'll never get to meet him. So, and then, and then he had started.
That's funny because I just started too, and Letterman's leaving. I'm like, damn.
Right? Yeah, you want to meet him, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
He's got to have influenced you. I know Carson influenced me. I know Letterman influenced me. I know Jonathan Winters influenced me. I
love Jonathan Winters.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Should I leave you to? You got to go do your show. Right?
No. What time is it right now?
8:20.
8:20. Do you want to pick it up afterwards, or do you want to keep going? How many more questions?
I could talk about your influences. Did you like Jonathan Winters?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I want you to be able to ask as many questions. I don't want you to be rushed. So let's just take a little break,
Sure.
and then we'll come back afterwards. How does that sound?
Thank you so much.
I'll buy you dinner. Do you want dinner?
No, don't worry at all.
Have you eaten?
Yeah, I ate it home.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Because I'll buy you dinner.
No, don't even. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, I'll buy you dinner. You take it home. You live with roommates?
No.
Where do you
I
live?
actually moved back in with my parents.
I'm not buying you dinner. You're fine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's up to you, New York, New York, New York. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ian Bagg.
Hey, keep it going for that guy. Come on, he's gay. What's going on, club full? You guys seen a weather forecast of bad, and you said, fuck it, we're going to laugh. I like your style. What, is there gonna be snow? Mm-hmm. We'll put on the bald tires. Let's fuck it up. I do love it when it snows here, because I fly in, and it's awesome. It's the best airport ever to fucking come to because you have Somali cab drivers. Yes, I know. The black ice is gonna be inside the car? I know. Some of you can look bad at me like that, but fuck, they're from Africa. That's who I do not want driving in fucking snow. And you guys, you're fucking assholes too. You know that, right? Because you guys gave them the job. You're like, I got a bunch of Somalis coming. Well, fuck, let them drive the strangers in the snow. That'll be fine. Come to Minneapolis, home of the lost boy. It'll take you 48 hours to find your hotel in the back of a goddamn cad van. I should have went right. No, yeah. I know, I'm not from here. I know how to get to my fucking hotel. You get in the back. You get in the back and fucking don't touch that GPS. You're gonna fuck everything up, Lou. You guys are much more fun. The crowd last night was shitty. Yeah, a lot of old people. It felt like a cruise ship had crashed in here. I know, and we're in the middle of the goddamn... Well, there's no goddamn ocean around here. How'd a cruise ship crash? That's what I said. Oh, there's a lot of old people here, too. Is it a retirement party? If you didn't like that joke, I was talking to you. Anyways, let's move on. Is there any Christmas parties? Let's get that out of the way first. All right, shut it. You've had your time in the sun. Now fucking shut up and let's have some fun. I love Christmas. I'm Catholic. Anybody else? Right on, but I don't have to go to church anymore because my grandma died. That's right, she took one for the team and we got our Sundays back. It is awesome. We will have pancakes any day of the week, old lady. Not just Sundays at 2 p.m. I'm very Catholic. I was actually molested. Yes. Thank you for laughing. That's fucking, thank you. Thank you, I'm serious. No, thank you, I'm serious, thank you. Last night the crowd booed. I'm like, how can you boo me for being molested? That's wrong. It's not like it was my fault. Like, my lips are so supple when blowing out a candle. There was no turning back for that old fella. No. No, that's not what happened. I didn't blow anybody. I just got my balls fondled. It's a true story. I got money from the church, $6,382. Worth it! Jesus totally bought me my first car. Thanks for the fire chicken, JC. That's right, I got a Trans Am. I'm fucking crazy. Some of you are laughing at that. Other people, I'm guessing, are Baptist. Judging from inside your house. Boo hiss boo. How'd you get so many ladies? That is fucking awesome. You got 3 ladies there. I like you, ma'am. You're wearing a vest. You said, fuck my arms. They can be cold. Keep my titties warm. That's a good point. Look sexy, though. Look sexy, okay? You're wearing a turtleneck, that's sexy too, but it also says I'm shut down for the winter, growing my pubes long. Growing my pubes long, see you in the spring. There's gonna be a lily pad in a tub. I like when girls wear a tube top, that is fucking fantastic. Yes, because a tit will fly out, sir. A tit will fly out. Tube tops just release every so often for no apparent reason. If you're ever in a grocery store, a woman's wearing a tube top, you follow her. Not too close. Don't be a pervert. Fucking stay back a little bit. Her tit will fly out for no apparent reason. You'll just hear her fucking going over her list. Not a lot, peanut butter, blah, 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 blah. You and 2 little boys. Oh my God, I can't believe we've seen a titty. High five. She will not notice until she gets to Frozen. She'll just walk around the store with that lefty out there the whole time. As soon as she leans in to get some ice cream, that's when her nipple's gonna get caught on the glass. Now's your chance. I'll save you. The boob releases from the glass. You're on the front page of the St. Paul Times. Hero saves nipple. Film at 11.
And we're back.
That was an amazing show.
It was amazing. I don't know.
Loved
It was fun. It was a good time. They were very nice.
Yeah. Everybody was like in aerospace and.
So funny.
What do you do? Aerospace. What do you do?
Down here in Hermosa, Redondo, Manhattan, almost everybody's an aerospace engineer. It's nerd central.
Yeah, totally.
So funny.
I think we left off with what your like major influences were in
My
comedy.
major influences. I would have to say it would be Eddie Murphy, Bill Cosby, Sam Kinison, and Jonathan Winters.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And I think you can see my influences when you watch my show. All of them, like Bill Cosby could paint a picture. Jonathan Winters, his mind just went anywhere. And Sam and Eddie, nothing was offside. You didn't hide things.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. And how do you? Because you're so in the moment when you're on stage and you're present. How do you like? I mean, do you ever like catch yourself maybe saying something that some other comedian might have said, or do you ever like?
I haven't. Not that I know of. Like nobody's called me out and said I don't think I do. I think the biggest way I don't do is I don't watch other comedians. So I'm sure there's been a crossover of material, but I don't watch anybody because I don't want to be influenced by anybody. So if we've crossed over just naturally. So
It's just amazing, and like you'll go in and out of an accent like immediately, and like the Holland.
The Holland lady
from
was
Holland.
she was on cocaine. It's funny when you do World War II jokes. Sometimes people, or not just history jokes in general. There's a group of people that don't get it.
It's amazing, yeah.
And then
like
there's-
300 people.
yeah,
It's like,
and-
how do you not know that?
How do you? So really, you haven't heard about World War II? Wow, I would love to be in that.
That bubble that just doesn't know history or anything.
Just that bubble of innocence.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things I wish
do
I
you-
didn't know.
Right, exactly. How do you like performing for a crowd like Hermosa? Because I know it's totally different from like a Hollywood like improv crowd. Or,
I like it.
yeah.
I'm a little more clean here than other places, but I enjoy it. They're real. I enjoy wherever I go. I would say Hermosa's my home club, if anything. I work at all the clubs, but Hermosa's definitely my home club.
Does a crowd matter for you? Like, do you like college crowds more, like a younger?
I
group?
don't like college crowds.
Really?
I don't like college crowds because a couple of things. I think you need a little disappointment in your life to get comedy. And for the most part, college kids don't have that disappointment.
Right.
And they're also at a point of their lives that they're influenced by everybody around them. So they might not think something's funny. Somebody else might think something's great, and they'll follow that person, or the other way around, they think something's hilarious, but because somebody else said something, they won't follow them. And college kids have a problem. Some people say it's now, but I think they've always had a problem with they're so busy trying to be liberal that they're actually they're over politically correct.
Right.
So
They're actually like socially conservative, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just
yeah.
reading this article like right now. Chris Rock said he hates doing colleges because he's like, it's this generation of kids who never kept points during a game because they don't want to be competitive and everybody wins. And he says these
It's
kids
funny
like,
because I
can't
did
laugh.
bring that up with somebody because I watch this show on HBO every month. It's called Real Sports with Brian Gumbel.
That's a great show, yeah.
And they had a thing about referees being attacked. And I was talking to my father-in-law, who's big into wrestling refereeing, and they have to deal with parents every so often. And I said, I think it's got to do with that nobody's ever kept points, so nobody knows how to lose.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to lose to get better.
You got to learn. You got to have just as much grace losing as you do winning.
Right.
So right now there's whole no grace with losing, no grace with winning. It's so far. It's nobody's.
Everybody's just so blasé after a game.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I think comedy's good. The same. The way sports goes is the way comedy goes. Sometimes I think that there's a group of people that you just don't want to. They're so.
that's such a shame because you'd think college kids would be like the hipper.
Yeah, I think I've never I did colleges 1 year.
Yeah.
When I first moved to New York, I did it for the first year, and I hated it.
Wow.
I just hated it.
Yeah.
And a lot of comics I know, there's a guy named Chad Daniels that I know that he writes how much he's being paid on his hand and looks at it while he's on stage because he hates it.
Oh my God.
Which, it's funny because we go back to, do you ever hate crowds? And,
Yeah.
and I say I don't, but I don't feel like working that hard to, like, I don't feel I should have to overwork, and also I don't feel I should have to justify myself for what I'm saying.
Exactly.
College crowds are weird in the fact that you have a group of people that have hired you and you have to go for dinner and sit with them.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you get a bad rating. So
That's such a strange.
And saying that, I've done some colleges in the last 5 years and I've had a good time at them. But I would say I've done maybe 5 colleges in the last 5 years. So the fact is I don't search them out because it's not gonna be fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I had no idea. And do you like a comedy club
I love comedy
audience,
clubs,
or
yeah.
like, I mean, your last special was on Showtime, was in a giant theater. Do you like a theater more, or a club?
I had fun in the giant theater. My next special, I would like for it to be in a comedy club.
Yeah.
Whether it be in Hermosa, whether it be in Chicago, who knows?
Like more intimate.
Yeah. Well, it's what I do. I don't do theaters. I do comedy clubs. So why not show people what I do at a comedy club?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The special was great too. I loved it. It
Oh,
was
thanks, man.
Really funny. But I could, yeah, like, you can't really see all the way to the back, and it's
Right.
just like does the laughter kind of feel different when you're on stage at a big room like that?
Theaters are built, right?
Okay.
So you're getting them. You're getting the response that
Yeah.
you should be getting. But if it was just in a big arena, it wouldn't be the same. But
yeah.
it would. Some comedy clubs aren't built right. The sound in some comedy clubs is just you're just like, I just bombed. Like, no, they loved you.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't hear a thing on stage, So.
It takes like a minute for the laughter to get to you.
It doesn't ever show up. Just goes, just disperse. Sometimes the ceilings are in a comedy club are just not built right. They're not
And it just
built
absorbs
it
everything.
just absorbs
Yeah.
everything and just dissipates.
That's crazy. And you just mentioned your father-in-law, and I saw a clip of your show that you had. I think it was on A&E.
Oh,
If I
yeah.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
That was such a great. I never got to see an episode, unfortunately, but like the
Nobody
premise
did,
of it is
yeah.
the funniest show I could think of.
I think it's a hilarious show, and hopefully will.
What happened? I mean, were there a few episodes? And
I think we did 2. A&E paid us a little bit of money, and we were with a company called T Group, and they weren't. T Group, A&E passed on it at the end.
And the premise of the show is you move back.
Premise of the show is my in-laws don't think what I do is a real job. And they own a seafood business, and they want me to come work at their seafood business.
How is that not comedy to any
I think,
network?
honestly, they said I wasn't famous enough for them to be, which makes me laugh because I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. But hopefully at some point that'll come around. Who knows?
It looks so funny. The
It-
trailer
I was-
where you
we
throw
had
the
so
fishing
much-
pole in.
Right.
The water, you're like, oh, it slipped.
My family, my in-laws are hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious. And I should put more of that on the internet because some of the my mother-in-law is out of her mind and it's so funny and just good times.
Yeah. I was wondering what your writing process was like, because you do a lot of stuff on stage. Do you ever like go up on stage and think of some topics and then sort of riff on that?
I try to bring topics on stage with me, but we get topics on stage and then
Right.
we just kind of
bounce off of
yeah,
it, yeah.
just kind of even when I write, try to write scripts with people too, it's more bouncing off than me sitting down at a computer and writing. I can, but I feel the more fun and the funnier is
Working
bouncing.
together.
Yeah,
with
working
somebody,
together. Yeah.
Do you write like every day or?
I try to gain information every day. Whether I write a joke about that information, no.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get information every day, I have new information in my head, which makes me think, which makes me come up with material,
That's
whether it be
something I
on
wanted to-
stage.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you when I was watching you right now. Is like people like you or like Jonathan Winters or Robin Williams, like people don't know, but like they're very well read and they know like everything. Just because you're able to like throw it all out. Like,
you got to be able. Yeah, you got to. You don't. You know.
So do you just like will read a newspaper every day?
Mm-hmm. I read magazines. I read everything on the internet. I just scroll through things on the internet. I love, I love finding out when I get wrong information. I love. I think I do 2 different American news sources. I do a Canadian news source, and I also do an Australian news source, as well as every so often I do a European news source. But I try to find,
which is a country apparently.
Yeah,
which is lady.
Fine.
This lady came up tonight, and the magicians before Ian were like, "What's your country that you'd like to visit to?" And she thought for like 2 minutes maybe.
Took her a while.
Yeah, and then she said Europe. Which is the greatest answer.
It was funny because she got away with it because she's fucking gorgeous.
I know, yeah, the crowd was like, oh yeah, Europe.
Okay, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we want to go there with you.
It's so funny. I was in the sound booth, I was like, wait, rewind that. What did she just say?
So I love that because people, it's the same as Family Feud. If you watch people on Family, they'll panic and say stuff like that all the time. Yeah.
In front of a bunch of people. And you said she wants to go to her next favorite country is Asia.
Asia. Her next favorite country is going to be Asia. She can't wait to go to South America.
Oh, man. Was she having a good time? I couldn't see
She was having a good time, but she was embarrassed. She kept hitting her forehead. She's like, oh.
Apparently her boyfriend pet her, too.
Yeah, he pet her head, which I'm just like, that is not going to make anybody feel smarter. If you can treat her more like a dog, she's going to really. Oh, so funny.
And I read on your site that you met 3 presidents, U.S. presidents. Did you get to perform for them, or?
I didn't perform for them.
Which presidents were they?
When I first moved to Los Angeles, I used to coach hockey, and Ronald Reagan was in one of his grandsons played in this.
No way.
Yeah,
he was in the audience.
Yeah, some people would take him in and he'd sit in the back and watch the.
That's how out of sports I am. I'm like, oh, the audience?
In the audience. In the audience.
Did you audition instead of try out, too?
I auditioned for the coaching hockey. And then I was on a plane and met Obama just before he started running for president.
That's
when
crazy.
his book came out. And then I was on another plane. And it's funny because I was listening to Howard Stern and blanking on it. Who's the guy that called out Cosby and now has Cosby going to jail?
Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal.
Yeah.
Hannibal was talking about how he had met, how he was on a plane and Jimmy Carter was on the plane, and same with me. And it's funny because Jimmy Carter walked around and shook everybody's hand on the plane.
Oh my God.
And I think he was saying the same thing had happened to him. And the funniest part was there was 2 different things. This lady yelled out, "You're the best, Jimmy Carter," and this guy beside me, I thought, easy. And then the pilot came on and said, if Jimmy Carter will sit down, we could pull back from the gate. Because he was too busy
Not even
shaking
former
hands.
president.
Yeah,
Jimmy, take your
just
seat.
If Jimmy could sit down, and I was just like, I think he's in coach.
That crazy old peanut farmer.
Yeah. He's selling peanuts.
Yeah. What does Jimmy Carter fly?
He flew Delta.
Delta? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
To even like picture that.
Yeah.
President.
Apparently he flies a lot out of Atlanta. So yeah, I was just like, this. Jimmy Carter is coming at me right now and is going to shake my hand. This is stupid.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But it was also how great is it? There's 3 different, there's not 3, but how great is it that he wants to meet everybody?
Right.
How crazy is it that he's still a politician and shaking hands? And
I know, what is he promoting?
exactly, you're just like, yeah. And then the other thing is, he's just in his own world. How great is that?
He's still riding up that president.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's so cool. And how long were you in New York?
I was in New York from 1994 to 2001.
2001, and you've performed in New York and Los Angeles. Would you recommend like one or the other? Or?
Two different things. Like Los Angeles is fun, but it's a struggle to get stage time here for most people. It's really in New York. If you're funny, you get on stage.
Okay.
Here, it's more of who you know.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of annoying, and it's just like sometimes even now sometimes I'm just like, are you serious? I learned a long time ago that you don't say if there's a guy that's funny in the room and he wants to go on stage, you put him on.
Yeah.
You don't say, oh, we have to have the show over at a certain time. No, you put him on. So in New York, I used to love it because sometimes I would do 6 or 7 sets in a night. And just,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hear
crazy.
about that, and like,
yeah,
I can maybe get to 2 if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I'm driving like a maniac.
Yeah. If you're driving like a maniac, I would get to, like, I'd start off at the comic strip, end up at Gotham, go down to the Cellar, end up at the Cellar, go next door to Cafe Wa, back to the Cellar.
Wow.
And then back up to the comic strip, like end of the night
so
of the comic
cool.
strip. Yeah.
Comic strip's not there anymore now.
No, it's still there.
It's still there?
Yeah.
Who are you, like, who are some of the people you were out there, like, starting
Who did I start out with?
Yeah.
My peers, Tom Papa and me were buddies.
Oh, cool.
Great. Jim Gaffigan.
Wow.
Yeah. But Jim's kind of a peer, but he was a little bit ahead of me, so
Okay.
we're more buddies than a peer. It's funny because I remember when I first moved out there, the shows I would be on where I just would bomb. I'd bomb so hard. It would be like Ray Romano, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle.
Jeez.
Then who else?
You have to follow all these guys.
I would get the check spot.
Which is that?
Which when they drop the checks, instead of like, they would put on a sacrificial lamb, which was me.
Oh.
And I would just eat
That's crazy.
dirt, eat shit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then they clear up, and then they bring on the last 2 guys.
Yeah.
Usually the last, and then it was funny. I'm just trying to think of some of them guys. Dave Attell, like all these just monsters.
That's incredible.
Just these
yeah.
monsters, and then those guys would go on, and then these guys, Red Johnny and the Round Guy, would go on at the end. There's this duo, and they would destroy harder than anybody I've ever seen. Like so hard.
I haven't even heard of them. I gotta go check them out.
You should look them up. I don't know if they ever did. I know they did a lot of TV, but I don't know if the way they would kill would translate to TV.
Yeah.
But it was just it was insane how hard they'd kill. It was just insane how hard they'd kill. Johnny DiMaggio was Red. Do you know who that is? You know Bender?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the voice of Bender,
He's the voice of Bender, yeah.
and he's done a ton of acting. But he was part of the group, and they would destroy like you would, like absolutely, like just in awe. I just remember being in awe of how hard they'd kill. I'm like, oh, these guys are killing like that New York thing when people jump out of the seats and are high fiving and hugging, like that would just go on. It was crazy.
That's what I heard with New
Jim
York.
Brewer was it was
Like if they like you, they'll let you know.
yeah.
Jim Brewer's there too.
Yeah, Jim. There like you name it. If they're a big act now, they're Jim Norton, Patrice O'Neill.
Oh yeah.
Who else? There was just so many guys. It was just
That's
crazy.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and just
So
like
cool.
all strong comics.
That I feel like that just will make you a better comic if you.
Yeah,
have to, like,
if you want, if you got to follow somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
have
can-
to force yourself to.
Yeah, you're gonna stretch your wings. Yeah, you never want to. You want to be the guy that nobody wants to follow.
Right.
And you should never be afraid to follow people. And then at some point, you want to get to that point, so you want to be there. You want to follow people that you don't want to follow,
Yeah.
and then you'll get stronger.
Very cool. And in those early days when you said you'd bomb like after Ray Romano or something like that, when you improvise and you're not doing well, what do you do? Do you just pick like a new person to?
Just do some jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy because I can't even like picture.
just go back and forth.
Yeah.
I would say more or less, the jokes wouldn't work rather than the improvising. The improvising always worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, it was great seeing you, and I think your comedy is so unique and rare. Like,
Oh,
I've
thanks,
never
man.
seen a comic like you before. And
Oh, thanks,
when you
man.
come, like everybody comes out. All the door guys stop working. All the cooks come out. Like
Really?
all the bosses stop. Like the
Oh,
waiters
that's so
stop.
nice.
Like everybody's watching you. And so I think you're really great, and you've really inspired me
thanks, man.
a lot. So thank you so much.
Good luck to you. I
Thank
know
you.
you're gonna do just fine. Work and write and have fun. Enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.